good, right? So I think that's good. Let's continue. So let's look at overall statistics of Malaysian as a whole, looking at the overweight stats in Southeast Asia. Look at that. Our country, our beloved country, Malaysia, already ranked #1 since 2017. It's a source from the Economist Intelligence Unit in 2017. And look at the yellow bar is, yellow bars represent male and orange bars represent female. Which is quite common to have more women who are overweight than men, because women tend to store a lot more fat. But nonetheless, look at that, we are still #1. And look at obesity. Just now it was overweight statistics, and this is obese as well. So obesity among Malaysians is actually getting quite alarming. It's actually quite worrying to see that. What can we do? And it happens not just recently, it happens years ago. It could start maybe for the past 5 years. And something to do with the lifestyle, something to do with our diet, and how can we cope this? We're not going to be #1 forever. Something has to be done here. And in terms of also from medical expenditure to treat people who are obese, the amount of money that we need to treat people who are with problem obesity, and how much is the medical cost for those who are having diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases. That will be the next slide we can see from here. Dr. Lim, from your point of view, medical doctor, can we go to the next slide, please, Evan? Look at the healthcare expenditure treating obesity. Look at Malaysian, it's still the highest. What does it tell to you? What would you like to share here, looking at this kind of stats? Would you mind to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I think the problem with obesity is not obesity itself, but it's the problem that comes together with obesity, or we call the metabolic syndrome. So we know that with obesity, with metabolic syndrome, there are more chances that they get higher blood pressure. They have pre-diabetic or diabetes. They have prone to have cardiovascular. That means their heart is not functioning very well. They might have stroke. They have mobility issues. That means it's not a crime being fat, but the problem is when you actually have so much of weight to carry, the body has a lot of inflammation. Yeah. It actually destroys your joints. That means a lot of people, when they reach 50s, they cannot climb the stairs already, sometimes up to 60s. They have to be on wheelchair. So all these add up and become an expenditure. So I think the problem with Malaysia is if we continue to let that happen, all of us, when we reach 50 and 60s, will be in the wheelchair, and we probably won't be able to move a lot. And the problem with that is that you will create a society that is overly dependent on cars, on wheelchairs, and eventually every one of us have to pay more tax to actually bear this problem.
Right. So we don't want that to happen. And I hope that with this group of people here, all of us, try to lead a healthy lifestyle so that we can set an example to all of us, all of our friends and family and friends around us. So be the one to be the influencers instead of trying to be the ones that try not to join the ones with metabolic syndrome, but put them back on track. And there's a lot more that can be done, right? So I think before we go really into exercising, your exercise routine and what kind of exercise do you do, let's do a single poll to get all of your participation. We want to see how what kind of exercise and what level of exercise that everyone is doing here. Shall we start with the first poll then?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, the first one, very simple. How often do you exercise? Everyone, please join. It takes maybe about a minute or two. Just within a minute, everyone should know. I mean, that should be quite easy to answer, right? Please vote, everyone. Start voting. Wow. Okay, anyone else, please? Just your identity won't be revealed. We won't know how much, we won't see who is who, but we want to see at least from all of us from this group chat, from this webinar, from this Zoom, how many people are doing it. So we're so far having only 2 people answering it, voting. Can anyone start voting? Good, very, see more coming. So this is quite, doesn't mean that the more, Ian, what do you think? The number of days that we exercise doesn't bring, it's not really equivalent to the quality of exercise we do, isn't it?
Well, first of all, I must say, I'm glad that I don't see anyone saying never exercise. So first thing first, I admire that. All right. So let's come back to about how often do you exercise? Okay, now we see about like 1/3 of it is like 33% is actually exercising 1 to 2 times a week. Okay, actually exercise is something that we should cultivate as a habit on a regular basis. All right, just let me give an example. Everyone knows that we have a basal metabolic rate, means our resting metabolic rate. So our metabolic rate actually determined a lot by our energy expenditure, in other words, exercise. So there's a formula in general. If we are exercising 1 to 2 times a week, our lifestyle in general still fall under sedentary. So which means we will be using our basal metabolic rate to multiply the numbers of 1.375 times. So that is roughly the overall energy expenditure that we require. So what do we know from that? So which means we are not supposed to eat more than what we do in order to keep or maintain our weight. Am I right?
Right.
So however, if someone who is like working out or exercise 3 to 5 times a week, this category falls under active. So when their lifestyle is active and automatically the energy expenditures has been increased quite a bit. So bear in mind, our energy expenditure doesn't mean that we only increase our metabolic rate during the exercise. So what happens is, if we exercise regularly, we are actually putting our body our resting metabolic rate at a higher pace compared to someone that is not working out regularly, compared to someone who is in a sedentary lifestyle. Yeah.
Right.
So all these will contribute to how much a person should eat by the end of the day. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are working out 1 to 2 times a week, you are still falling under sedentary. But if you can do it consistently, like alternate days, 3 to 5 times a week, so you are in good hands. Yeah.
It's in summary.
Exercise point of view, yeah, correct.
Cool. All right. So pretty much healthy though, this group of people. What you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the second one, what are the reasons for not exercising? No motivation. Well, that's the highest at 67% so far. Well, which is quite common, seriously. And no time, all right? No exercise buddy. Afraid of people judging me at the gym. Others so far, no. Wow, I don't give excuses for exercising. This is very good, 33%. So we have about 33% of people here are quite getting used to exercising, right? That's good. And later maybe we will touch a bit more about motivation of exercise, right? And no time and no exercise buddy, 33% as well. Well, maybe we will touch about that later. We will talk about the point later. Wendy, do you always have no motivation time for exercising? To you? Would you like to unmute yourself first? Yeah. What motivates you to exercise, by the way?
What motivates me? I actually started exercising when I went to a fit club. There's one auntie, a grandma, she's 65 years old. She can do better burpees than me.
Wow.
Okay.
So that challenged me to start exercising.
That's a turning point. Good.
Yeah.
65 years old versus 20s. Wow. Wow, which is good. I mean, yeah, that how much motivation you can get from there, which is, I think, is quite a challenge to everyone here to get them right. Because I think this auntie has been doing exercise since young. I've been doing exercise, you know, because the more you train your body, the better the body performs, right? Which is quite true. Okay, what would you like to achieve from exercise? This is also quite important from us to help get Ian to get Ian to give you some advice on how to work out, and I mean how to change your lifestyle, how to improve your lifestyle, how to improve your exercise routine as a whole. I need to lose 2 to 5 kg and tone up my body. But the toning, not much to go, and we have 17% of 10 kg or more to lose, which is okay. Right. 10 kg is actually not a problem if you really know the tip and tricks of exercising the right way. Right. I'm skinny. I need to add some toned muscles. I do not know whether it's, but a lot of people here, I mean, especially female, I don't tend to generalize. No matter how skinny they are, they still think they are fat. But I hope they don't fall under this category. Wendy, are you skinny?
I guess so.
You see? You're skinny. That's good. All right. You're a bit different. But none of the above. Okay. I think that's good. I think we roughly know how to go about later. Right. Even for Dr. Lim and Ian and Wendy, we know how to guide this discussion later. Yeah. Okay. Let's continue with the next one. So now I think we would like to understand the type of body shape. That's what we mentioned just now. Oh, what about this first? Try not to get fat. This is what we Clique Clinic has shared before during MCO period, and it's kind of we share it through our social media and on our e-newsletter. Some tips to stay healthy so that we don't keep gaining weight and stuff. Well, this is just a guide and some guide research in general. Yeah, I think most of us here maybe have seen that before. Okay, let's look at the next one. This is body type, right? I know which category are you in? Ian, we may want to continue to explain more about.
I think end of the day, thanks, Josh. Yeah, it's very important for us to understand our body type because, all right, our body type doesn't mean that what we look like at this current moment, but however, it is more related to genetically our build, the build of our body originally. So of course, in terms of obesity, a lot of times we actually kind of allow that to happen due to a sedentary lifestyle, right? But however, we should always refer, or we can do some self-assessment on which type of a body type we have actually. So there are actually 3 main common and the most general body type. So body type over here means whether you are on the ectomorph side. Ectomorph, which is actually originally you are skinny, right? If I put it in a layman terms, you are actually just like a mesh state. It's like actually a lot of us actually we are ectomorph, especially the Asian originally. Yeah. So usually we have if we're falling under ectomorph, you'll be having a lanky these limbs, arms, skinny arms, and it's very hard for ectomorph people to actually put on weight. So one of the reason being is genetically their metabolic rate should be higher, and the other thing is like because they are not actually utilizing their body correctly, or they are actually overactive in such a way they utilize more energy than they consume. So these are people actually they no matter what they eat or how much they eat, you can hardly see them putting on actual weight. Yeah, all right. So if you move down to mesomorph, okay, this is the best type of body if you can get. If you are originally as a mesomorph, means you can easily build your muscle up, bulk up, we call it, all right? So bulk up is very important. As we all know, if we have more muscles on our body, we tend to have a higher metabolic rate. And this is very important for weight management along the way. So just imagine every kilo of muscle you have extra compared to the person next to you, you can burn about like 30 to 40 calories extra a day for not doing anything. So we can convert that to, you can actually eat more, not putting weight as well, right? But however, for people that is mesomorph, majority of the Asian, we don't fall under this category. It's very rare, all right? But if you're mesomorph, then please make good use of your gift. This is a gift for Asian especially. So end of the day, endomorph. So some of us, we are built endomorph. Endomorph, people actually, you can easily tell. So they, most likely they are like kind of like a little bit more broad, the build
Mhm.
since young. All right, you can feel that their body is more broad and more thick in a way, and usually they have a more bigger circumference on the mid sections, on the core sections. So this type of people, endomorph, they will put on fat easily. They actually accumulate fat easier. So which means even though if they don't eat much, their body chances are still can absorb, still can convert whatever they eat, especially carbohydrates, into fat almost immediately. So yeah, it's very important. And after this, we will be talking about each type of body type. There are ways of training in terms of, I mean, I'm talking about exercise type to help you to achieve or maximize the result,
Right.
make your workout efficient, the most important thing.
So you
And
can do your own
yeah,
self-assessment, right, online. There's
yeah,
quite a
correct.
lot there,
Yeah,
right?
correct. Mm.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go to the next page. So we start from endomorph, right? So what are the top 3 tips that you're going to share?
All right. Okay. So let's talk about endomorph. I think if you are talking about weight management. So first of all, I think this category really need to be what you call that, focus on, right? If you're endomorph means chances are you are overweight or even obesity for the time being. So you need to know how your body works. So for people with endomorph, you need to choose your workout correctly. Okay, allow me to talk about the training side first. Yeah. Okay. So if you are talking about endomorph, you need to find some workout that can actually for you to burn your energy consistently. All right, first thing. All right, we are talking about very basic thing like you walk 10,000 steps a day. All those are very simple guideline. However, are this method the most efficient way for losing weight? Okay, so let me explain a bit further. Now we are talking about the most effective workout versus the suitable workout for you. So there are two different things that we should look into. Of course, you can find all the very powerful workout. It's like you burn like 1,000 calories an hour and so on internet, on any training program. There are many intensive training program, but you need to know whether are you ready? Is your joint ready for high impact workout or activities like that? Okay. So if you are not, so I will strongly suggest you have to like slowly strengthen your body first of all. But if you are ready, now let's talk about make the workout count efficient, right? So high intensity training is very suitable to burn fat. Okay, especially we are talking about compared to steady pace cardio. The reason why we are putting this, okay, everyone please look at number 3. We're talking about workout first, yeah. So if we're talking about high intensity interval training versus steady pace cardio means steady pace cardio means, for example, you are putting yourself on the treadmill or you're going for a swim or brisk walk or cycling outdoor, whereby you're actually putting your body under quite a comfortable zone. Is in your comfort zone. Yes, no doubt your heart rate will elevate to a certain period, certain level. However, you can support the activities for more than half an hour or so on. So which means your heart rate is at the rate of perhaps about 75 to 80% maximum of your maximum heart rate. So it can allow you to prolong the whole sessions. All right. So what are the pro in this steady pace cardio as is that you can do it for a long duration of time. And what about the problem with it? While you're doing that, if you're overworking on steady pace cardio, you are not just burning fat. Okay, there's no guarantee that during this, let's say half an hour of jogging or swimming, you are only burning your fat. You'll be burning not just fat, you're losing body fluid, water. So actually our body 60 to 70% consists of water. Definitely you lose some waters. And
Mhm.
after a while, your body will try to like extract the energy from the fat storage and also from the muscles. So which means if you are doing too much of steady pace cardio, you'll be burning not just the fat, but you will be burning your muscle as well. So by the end of the day, you might be losing weight, but your body composition, your fat and lean mass ratio, most likely they will be still the same before you attach to steady pace cardio. All right. So here's the thing. For someone who wants to lose weight, I would strongly suggest you all can start some light intensity interval training. I don't quite high intensity interval training. You have to adapt your level a step at a time. Of course, high intensity interval training, the idea is that you elevate, you push your heart rate to maybe 90% of the maximum heart rate. Or I'm not sure whether you guys understand what is the maximum heart rate or not. It's very easy. You just use 220 minus your age. That will be a very basic guideline of your maximum heart rate. So over HIIT, we're talking about, we are trying to achieve 90% of your maximum heart rate or more for a short duration of time. And after that, immediately you have some times to cool down your heart rate, to cool down your body for recovery purpose. And this phase will repeat over and over again until your body really feel lethargic. And hence, the chances are your body after, let's say, 10, 20 minutes, depends on individual fitness level, you might achieve a threshold level. Threshold level means you are almost at your limit, but you are already out of your comfort zone. So in this situation, right, you will achieve a state called the post-workout oxygen consumption. We call it the EPOC, the afterburn effect in layman terms. Means you don't burn just during the workout. However, after your recovery, your basic metabolic rate will still be higher than your normal metabolic rate itself. So that is the benefit of HIIT training.
I think another benefit is that I can see is because heat doesn't take long time.
Yes.
Workout, cardio takes longer time, half an hour to 1 hour.
Yeah, if you can do like 20 minutes hits, you are in good hands actually.
Yeah, then you can keep burning fats, right? Isn't it? So that helps also to increase the metabolism, something to play with the leptin hormone to reduce fat storage ability. Dr. Lim, you want to talk a bit about leptin hormone that to explain a bit about that so everyone understands? Is Dr. Lim here?
You ask me? Okay. So, yeah, basically leptin is a hormone that helps us to kind of control our hunger. So basically, it's one of hormones that plays a part in terms of how we eat and how we utilize fat. So as what Ian was mentioning earlier, there are exercises that actually helps you to burn and take away all the energy, but then the energy can be coming out from sugar or your muscles and not necessarily fat. So we need to actually create a condition that the body will use up certain certain hormones to actually induce our body to use up or utilize the fat energy from our body.
Right. Okay, cool. So let's go to the next type then. I think a lot of people would like to know, especially Asians, quite a lot of us are ectomorph. So let's see what is the right tips for ectomorph. Can we go to the next slide, please? Can we go to the next slide, please? Where is that? So ectomorph actually, is Alvin around here? Alvin, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, right. So, yeah, something to do. Some tips that Ian you can share is about workout intensity, right? How to manipulate the intensity to give you the best result. Because I think ectomorph like me, like Wendy, we
myself
how to grow some muscles and stuff. Wendy, you have the same problem like me as well. I think so.
Yeah.
Trying so hard. I mean, you kept telling me, how can I build muscles? I want more definition. Blah, 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 blah. So what is the best way?
Okay, so usually for ectomorph, right, these people they are very hard to gain muscles. But a lot of ladies, you all might have might thought that gaining muscle is very hard. That is very normal because of your testosterone level, the hormone, the muscle building hormones is much lesser than guys. All right. So my advice for ladies is like, do not feel worried, do not be afraid of weight training. You will not get bulky muscles, all right, as what you imagine. Okay, let's go back to ectomorph. Ectomorph, if for ectomorph, if you want to exercise, make sure you don't overwork yourself. All right, focus on hypertrophy, strength, or power training if you can. Of course, as someone who is new in training for ectomorph, I don't suggest you straight away go for power training or strength training. You shall start with slowly with muscular endurance, then move down to hypertrophy. Hypertrophy means you should find a weight that you can lift on. This is a general guideline, all right? Let's say you do a squat. You want to do a weighted squat. Find a weight that you can bear about 8 times to 12 times, all right? Anything that if you can do, can continue to perform the same exercise for more than 20 times, yeah, stop it. You're overworking it, and if overworking your muscle fiber is you are conditioning your body in the sense that your muscle does not require to bulk, but rather it will kind of like condition it in a way that for elasticity, for what you call that, for long durations. So for ectomorph, you want to bulk up, so you better find something that you could like bear during the training. Just low reps, and overload means some weights that you can bear for 8 to 12 reps for a start. All right, and you don't overwork your cardio, of course. Minimize your aerobic sessions means no running. How often you see a runner with bulk body running around? Hardly, right? So that explains all actually. All right, and yeah, I think most of the guidelines are pretty straightforward. All right, and of course, you need to build from the major muscle groups. So focus more on the compound exercise, such as squat, deadlift, or back workout like pull up and leg pull down, bench press, rather than like focusing just isolate your smaller muscle group that will not lead you anywhere by the end of the day. And stop doing crunches if you are ectomorph. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll see later. You want to be
Because if you see your abs is easier to be shown, and because your body is skinny already. So don't worry about that. All right. No matter how hard you work, how many abs exercise you work, your abs is still there, right? But you need to thicken your muscle. You need to like bulk up your body. So your training method has to be like focusing on just majority of them should be weight resistance training, finding the reps or weights that you can do about 8 to 12 reps, nothing more than 15, nothing more than 20. Yeah.
okay. Right. So, I mean, again, stop stuffing yourself with food. I mean, people who are skinny, especially at the moment, they say, I want to eat more, I want to eat more, I want to gain some mass. If not, I'll look so skinny and like my matchstick, and then blah, blah, blah. But what happens to really, stuffing yourself too much with food, and you never go anywhere if you don't really know the real trick of how to gain some muscles. We don't want to gain too much of fats, but we want to gain muscles.
Right. Correct.
Can I go to the previous slide? We haven't finished yet. Something to do with digestion, with absorption.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So talking about food, for me, I mean, to me, it's very simple. Everyone just imagine if I'm holding this bottle, right? And this bottle, the water is full. So no matter how hard you try to fill up the bottle, the amount of water is still the same. So this applies to let's say ectomorph people, right? So what they need to do, they need to increase the size of the bottle in order for them to fill up the more water, more volume. So that's why doing adequate, sufficient, doing good quality weight training is very important for ectomorph. Yeah. So that their body, their muscle recovery require all the good nutrition. So when you consume the food, your body is able to absorb them for recovery and
there's also some examples of those who are in this condition of hyperthyroidism, and they have higher, digestion rate and stuff. So from this kind of scenario, how can we do from medical point of view? How can we treat people with hyperthyroidism, Dr. Lim? Anu?
So
Yes.
yes, if you fear that you have hyperthyroidism, which is not very likely, but if you ever had that feeling that you actually sweat a lot, you actually couldn't gain weight, you actually have palpitation, that means your heart rate always raised. It's always good to see a doctor to make sure that to check thyroid. But most of the time, I think if you actually feel that you cannot gain weight, it is good to look into how like what Ian was mentioning about your daily activities and the amount of food that you are eating and what kind of food you are taking, and also looking into talking to perhaps some personal trainers or your any coach that you have to see how you can actually gain muscle. And the thing that here when we see about the muscle gain supplements is a lot of people think that they can gain a lot of weight, gain a lot of muscles through eating, taking all sorts of supplements. It's not, in fact, not 100% true, because most of this, yes, they come with lots of calories, but at the same time, you might compromise your health because all these artificial supplements can actually bring a lot of what we call it can actually sort of destroy some of your organs eventually.
Yep, totally agree.
Okay, all right. I think that's about it. Let's go to mesomorph. People, you're the lucky.
Well, mesomorph.
With all the best thing in life.
Yeah, if you so happen to be born as to have a mesomorph body, you are blessed, and please, maximize your potential and this gift, I think it's pretty easy to maintain your physique, your figure. So as long as you are not totally lazy or not totally sedentary, you just manage very minimum weight training and minimum cardio. You can always have a good maintenance of your physique if it's not better. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Talking about improve your flexibility, yes, I missed out. Yeah. So what happened is I emphasize on improve your flexibility is because most of the time for mesomorph people, because you tend to be able to perform better, stronger, more explosive, more biometric performance. So chances are you might overuse your muscles. You might overtrain your muscles. Therefore, stretching is to actually balance it. All right. You need to release some tensions or stiffness on your muscles. So for better longevity and mobility in the
right. Okay. And do not take it for granted. Yeah. If you don't, if you're born with mesomorph, if you don't take care of it well, you still get fat no matter what.
Yeah, I see mesomorph becoming endomorph. Yeah, it happens.
It's very lifestyle dependent. Seriously.
Right.
God is fair. Okay, right. Next one, please. Next slide. Let's go to the myths. We told everyone that we want to help you debunk some myths. A lot of people have whether or not this is right, whether or not this is wrong. Let's go to the first one and have a look and see. Let's first myth. Fat can turn into muscles and muscle can turn into fat. Wow. Which is quite common. Everyone tells me the same thing even now. I mean, I should gain a bit of fat, I put on some fat, so later when I train myself, I can turn the fat into muscles. Come on, this is not so right. Ian.
Well, I think from my point of view, it's very straightforward. I always get these questions whenever someone's want to acquire my service for training. Okay, it's very simple. Fat, to me, fat and this for my explanation, I will always tell my clients, fat and muscles are two different entities. They are two different substances, all right? Whereby our muscles is supporting our skeleton, our whole structure, all right? So it attached on our bones between the joints and all for us to mobilize, for us to move, for us to apply force, to apply our muscular motor functions and all, right? Means our movement, our functions, our ability, physical ability. And fat, actually, we can't use them or to support or any forms like that. All right. The best, I think the benefits of fat, I think what I can think of is to protect us from freezing cold. So if you have more fat, you don't feel as cold compared to someone with less fat. However, we still need some essential fat in our body. That's impossible for us to achieve 0% fat. All right. For a normal healthy person, for man, if you are considered fit, you falling under fit category, your body fat should be around like 12%, and for ladies should be around like 21% or slightly below than that. All right. So we still need some fat. So no matter how hard you train, your fat will not convert into muscle. It's two different types of cells. So your muscle fiber will grow, your muscle fiber will increase. By the end of the day, if you stop training, it will shrink. Your muscle will shrink, or the muscle fiber will reduce. But it has nothing to do with the fat. Your fat will gain by itself, maybe because of your lifestyle, bad dieting. Not bad diet intake and all. But your muscle can never turn back to fat, nor the fat can turn into muscle. Yeah, that is a very straightforward explanation from my side. But I don't know whether Dr. Lim has other very scientific explanation on that or not.
Yeah, muscle and fat, doctor.
Precisely right. So it's two different organs in the body. It doesn't change, transform into each other. In fact, where we see is the more muscle you build, it actually consumes more energy. So the fats doesn't have too much storage, so it won't be overloaded with a lot of fat. So in that sense, if you really want to lose weight, it's best to build more muscles.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's go to the next myth. Let's go to the next myth. Wendy, let's you as a female, the only female here, explain about this.
I guess this one, Ian did mention about it just now. Like, lifting weights will not cause you to become like the Hulk.
Right.
So, a lot of women, like, they tend to complain, right? I don't want to go to gym and lift weight because I may be growing bigger and bigger and I don't look good. But that actually really impossible because men and women have different hormones, and women don't have so much testosterone as men. So that's really impossible for us to become the Hulk unless they go for some steroids or they have like really insane genetics or they do really a lot of workout at the gym, then probably they may achieve that.
Right, which is still quite impossible. Maybe we always do assessment for female clients sometimes. They say, oh, I've been lifting some weights. They say, oh, this is getting so big, man. I want to reduce the fat here, but this is so big. You will never get any bigger after that.
Yeah.
More likely fats than muscles. But anyways, I think unless you are born as a man, when you actually have your male hormones supplied since you are a baby, then you might be able to actually create some sort of huge muscle, provided you exercise a lot more. But I think it's very hard to actually get yourself into such a shape with just exercise or doing
by looking at this picture, I mean, it's open secret in bodybuilding industry. I'm sure this fitness or muscular lady here, she is a professional female, at least either bodybuilder or those like Miss Fitness kind of competitor, right? So for them to achieve figures like that, I'm pretty sure they actually rely on some sort of external, or we call it substance. I don't want to be biased saying that steroid and all, but I'm sure there are substances being used to achieve this, or even male hormones and so on, or growth hormone and so on. Yeah.
Right.
Naturally, women, I don't think at a normal training, normal lady who go through normal training will achieve a physique like that. Even for guys like us, it's very hard to achieve a physique like that. Yeah.
If you're talking about the lady on the right, is look at her, even look at her body, look at her arms. It's actually quite toned. We quite like it. You know, this is a very fit and healthy way of a lady instead of quite some clients that come to us wanting to do specific spot reduction. They want to have pretty much straight arms, straight legs, and not even a single muscles, which is totally so not right. I mean, you must have a bit muscles to look healthy. You don't want to look skinny but unhealthy.
Right. Yeah, to me, I think this lady look very toned.
Very
I use the word tone. Yeah, it's like
very nice.
end result of body fat is low and the muscle is developed, so that you can see the contour of the muscle, the definitions. You can see the curvy line, and you can see some muscle definition, of course. So I think a lot, especially Asian women, I have encountered a lot of ladies. They just like what you say. They are always looking. A lot of them are looking for like straight line figures, skinny limbs. They don't want any lines. But just think about the health or longevity side of it. As we age, we tend to lose some muscles every year, about 1 to 2 pounds of muscle after we hit 40. So how long do you think your skinny limbs can support your overall motor functions or your mobility? I mean, when you hit the older age, and that will definitely, despite maybe you are skinny, but that is not good for your joints and you know, and the body as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. From health point of view, muscles are very, very important.
Yeah.
To grow older, right? So let's go to the next myth. Oh, the best time to work out is first thing in the morning.
Stop giving yourself excuses.
Well, if you oversleep and say, no, I'm not going to work out this morning. I'll work out maybe in the next day. That's not right.
Yeah. All right. This is a very good. Allow me to just share some points on this. Right. All right. Biological clock. I mean, for us, it's true that it's good that we work out in the morning. All right, because especially we're talking about. I mean, I'm talking the truth about it, lah. Of course, this actually overall is an excuse. If you're working out in the morning, empty stomach, without consuming any food, chances are you might actually utilize the storage, the energy storage in the body. So some studies say you might see like you might burn more. You might see better result if you do cardio in the morning. But maybe cardio, part of it is correct, all right? But the thing is, if you're talking about like you want to work out properly, you want to hit your muscular, you want to hit on your strength, hypertrophy, you want to like condition your body, you want to build your muscles, you want to burn fat at the same time, you want to hit high intensity interval training, you can do it anytime, except just before you go to bed. So my suggestion is do not find any excuses. All right, your muscle don't build in the gym, don't build as you work out. It develop over the night. I mean, the recovery take place at night when you go to bed, when you sleep. So the sleeping, quality sleep is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, I think different individuals have their different productive time. I mean, some people are more productive in the morning, some people are more in the afternoon and in the evening. So make full use of a productive period to exercise. That's the best way.
Yeah,
and when you don't even exercise early in the morning, right?
Sorry?
You don't exercise early in the morning, right? You exercise in the evening. Yeah, as long as you feel that that's a productive time, why not?
Yeah.
Even Dr. Lim as well. I don't think you always exercise in the morning.
I love exercise in the morning. I think exercise in the morning pump a lot of, give us a lot of
sense of accomplishment. Yeah. Everyone knows that, right? So you can lead the rest of the day more psychologically you feel better. That's the pros and cons, but it mustn't be like in the morning all the time. If you don't have time in the morning, then evening.
That's no.
In other words,
right,
if you don't have time morning, do not find excuses to quit or not to do anything.
This is the main point.
Yeah.
Okay, next myth then.
Well, I guess that's the main reason why we are talking about this right now. Okay, just let me clear some maze. I mean, some crowd around here. Yeah. So a lot of people, when they approach the gym trainer like myself, or they go to the gym, they say, "Hey, I want to reduce this. I want to lose this, lose that. I want to lose my belly. I want to lose my arms. I want to lose my thigh." But however, is unfortunately you can't do spot reduction. Spot, SPOT, spot means certain areas. You can't do spot reduction. We are talking about fat reduction. You can't do spot reduction through training. This is our body is made in such a way there isn't any like control or switch. You tell your body, hey, I want to lose you on the belly after I jog 10 km. All right, can we do that? No. Your body will perform, will respond in a way. Genetically it's different everyone. Some people store more fat on the belly, some people store more fat, depends on the body shape as well, on the lower body, the butt or the thighs area. So your body will automatically utilize or extract the energy from the fat on all this area. Everyone is different. Again, like what I'm trying to say is that some people you might lose weight on the face, on the cheek. Some ladies might lose weight on the chest area. All right. Yeah. So it depends. So you cannot be specifically choosing to lose fat. Remember, all the resistance training, all the weight training, you're focusing on the part. You are building the muscle. You are not trying to lose the fat on the specific part. The only chances, the time when you can lose fat is you do a lot of high intensity interval training, or you actually doing work cardio long enough to able to also reduce the fat. But you cannot be specifically choose which area you want to reduce through exercise.
In reality, quite a lot of people are still looking for a specific spot reduction kind of solution.
No, through exercise
That's right.
can never
So
happen.
we know that this is not possible from an exercise. Actually, Wendy, what can we do then? What can we do? What can we always help our clients to do if they really want to do great? My arms are still big no matter how much I try. I eat healthy, I exercise a lot. Even my inner thighs are still big. My love handle is still there.
Well, they can always come to us. We got lots of treatments here for them.
Yeah.
We have cryolipolysis, we have laser lipolysis, anything, just name it.
Yeah, actually, of course, people who come to us, we want to let you know that we help people do specific spot reduction. We cannot help you in your overall fitness level and overall, weight loss program. And this is weight loss is actually still pretty much dependent on your own effort. Of course, we still have something to tag along to make your weight loss journey more effective. But from the core, effort, it must come from you. To start with good lifestyle, to exercise, to eat healthy, and do the rest for you, right? Dr. Lim, you want to add on anything about that on this topic?
I think you guys got everything covered. So basically, we know that, as Ian has mentioned, there are body parts that actually grows bigger on when you grow fat, and this is because on those areas you have more fat cells.
Yep.
And it's like buckets of fat, buckets containing fat. As you grow bigger, if you have more buckets, it becomes even bigger. So those are areas that if you find that whenever you get fat, that those areas that accumulates more fat than usual and other parts of body, those body parts has more fat cells. And then and medically, we can take it away by surgical, like post-suction, or nowadays we can actually do it without cutting, which is using cold, heat, or lasers. And there's a lot of different techniques these days. So to find out, you can always look for Wendy or Josh for our body specialists, or and our staff in Clique Clinic for
that's the reason. I think we have one more observation from that, especially female, those who are a bit kind of towards endomorph. Once they gain more weight, and after that they manage to lose weight. So once they lose more weight, you see them lose more on a upper body, but the lower body remains quite not much of reduction you see compared to the upper body. What kind of explanation we can give from here? I mean, the fat cells respond differently at different part of the body.
Yeah, you're asking me, right?
Yep.
So basically, I think lower body parts are generally more resilient towards losing, especially we know that people who goes through yo-yo lifestyle, that means if they actually throughout years when they grow up, they actually lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, and then they will realize that their lower body parts has more fat cells than other parts of the body. So even if you go very lean, you realize that the lower body parts can be so hard. If you look at some of them who are already in a certain age, and then you see them, their lower legs are so big that it's not muscles, it's just fat. So basically, those are because of too many fat cells there, and it's really hard to tackle those areas.
Yeah, stubborn fat, right? We call them.
Yep. Okay, all right. So let's go to the next myth then. We have 3 more, I think. Okay, do lots of cardio is the best way. Doing lots of cardio is the best way to lose fat.
Well, if I may rephrase this to make this myth to a fact, I will change it. Do a lot of cardio is the best way to lose weight. So again, we are talking about weight versus fat. So I think the problem right now is like a lot of people, they come in, they seek for treatment, or they seek for someone to help them to lose weight. That is something that I hope you all can have a second thought of it. Losing weight includes losing muscles. So by the end of the day, if you lose your fat and you lose muscle, your ratio, lean mass versus fat, will still be around the same thing. So let's talk about what is the good ratio between fat and lean mass. So for ladies, if your body fat percentage is higher than 30%, so you will fall under obese category. You will be under obesity, unfortunately. Some ladies, they might look a bit like small size, petite, or you can't tell that they are actually obese, but however their body fat percentage is high. You know what I mean? So it happens. Their ratio, the fat ratio is high. So if this person keep running, she will not achieve a lower body fat percentage because she is losing muscle at the same time. So which means if you are doing this steady pace cardio over the time, chances are you will not lose the percentage, the fat percentage. So and over the time you will be falling under you will having some joint issue or other like issues.
Stop pushing yourself to go for a long jog if you really don't. It's okay. Try other type of exercises. It could be the light intensity or high intensity interval training. That could be more.
Should have a good mixture of a few type of exercise.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next myth then. A lot of guys, I think crunches are the great exercise for six pack.
Right. Okay. So from the training point of view, again, when you are doing crunches, you are contracting the muscle. So the process of contracting the muscle is like you relax the muscle, you contract muscle over the time. So what happens is, can you get six pack by just doing crunches? Yeah, you might be training, you might be hardening the muscle, you might be developing the abs muscle. But bear in mind, your abdominis, your rectus abdominis, your abs, the layer of muscle is very thin. So no matter how hard you train, it's very hard for it to develop, to be bulked up. Yeah, stop imagine about the bodybuilders. I mean, for guys, don't think about the bodybuilders, think about the body. Their body is different, all right? They use a lot of substance and all. But I'm talking about when you do the crunches, you are training muscle, and the layer of fat will not be affected at all, because crunches itself require very minimum effort in terms of energy expenditure. As in compared to maybe I do a squat, jump, or burpees, chances are I get a nicer abs than doing just crunches, because doing all those exercises, the compound movements, the high intensity movements, they actually promote to utilize more energy. So in a way, the energy that's stored in the fat might be able to extract and be metabolized, be used. So however, if you're just focusing on the crunches, if you still have the layer of fat on top of it, I'm sorry, you will not get the definitions, the lines. You can't see them.
Right.
But when you press in it, it's hardened, but the fat is still covering it. Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah.
So focus more on reducing the fats instead of cooking.
Yeah,
too much.
well, we can do this, but
Right.
don't focus just on crunches. This should be
Right.
a supplementary workout at the end of the session, so
Right.
something that you do not to supplement your workout program, not the main course. Should
Right.
be we call it the dessert, perhaps. Yeah, correct.
Okay, all right. Let's go to the next myth, second last myth then, before we call it. Okay, strength training requires a gym.
Just now you saw the video, right? I'm
close.
doing it anywhere. You can do it anywhere.
Look at Ian's video just now. He could do it everywhere. He could do it all sorts of exercise. As long as you have the knowledge, guys. If you don't have the knowledge, it's very hard for you to imagine it. Just try to be creative. And of course, you can always get connected to Ian if you want to know more about that, and then he can give you some tips on how to do a workout. So gym is just a place. It's convenient for you to do it, but it doesn't mean that you cannot do any strength training at all outside the gym. Right?
Right.
Okay, go to the last myth then. Consume only protein after your workout. This is very controversial. A lot of people, even last time, people keep telling me that you should take your protein pre and post workout, just for protein, which is actually not right.
Okay.
So from diet wise,
you have something to
I mean, well, we know that protein is to repair injured muscles, to repair torn muscles. Protein is very much important in that. But what builds the protein is not, what builds muscle is not protein, right?
Yeah, just to for information for everyone to know, during the resistance training, the weight training, our muscle fiber will experience wear and tear. So that is where protein comes in for the fixing, to repair the torn tissue, the torn muscle fiber. All right. So, however, if you want to have a good muscle growth after that, after the recovery, you need to have not just the protein, you also need to have the good carbohydrates. So actually just now on the endomorph page, we actually didn't talk about the macronutrients.
Macronutrients, yes.
So yeah, in order to take care of our body, all right, we need to have good portions of macronutrients. What are macronutrients? They are protein, carbohydrates, and fat. All right. So each of these, they have a few different type of it. For example, protein, you can find whey protein, plant protein, different type of protein. Provide different kind of amino acids. Amino acids is a byproduct after the protein break down by our body. All right. So some of it our body can produce, but a lot of it, the essential amino acid, our body cannot produce by itself. So we have to consume it through food, through let's say meat, through chicken, or some plant-based, some soy, and so on. So it's the same for carbohydrates and all. They are good and bad. So do not take. I mean, if you want to have a good body, good recovery, and a good energy supply, try to focus more on the complex
carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mainly came from the natural plant-based carbohydrate like sweet potato, pumpkins, and so on. And most of the complex carbohydrates actually are low in glycemic index, low GI. So it will not trigger your blood sugar level, I think, which is very good. And yeah, you should consume them more. And fibrous carbs, you can find in vegetables, also vegetables.
So carbs are not your enemy.
Yeah,
everyone here.
It's the calories at the end of the day, how much you need. If you eat more than that, even though you just consume protein, you will still gain weight. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Dr. Lim, anything you want to add on here about protein and carbs?
I think that's everything got covered. So that's good. We understand that.
Cool. Very good. Right. Any more questions, guys? Do you have any questions to ask the panelists?
Please ask us if you have any questions.
If not, let's go to the next page. And if not, you can get connected to Ian via his IG and FB. He's a fitness coach, and you can throw him some questions. I think he'll be more than happy to answer you. And okay, again, what is the best time to eat after a workout? From Pamela.
Okay, so from training point of view, studies say we should consume a good meal between the first hour of the training. So that's the time our body is depleted with our energies, and we need proteins, we need carbohydrates for the recovery. So try to consume it in the first hour after the training. So however, it doesn't mean, let's say you're pushing yourself very hard in the gym, doesn't mean that you should eat all type of food. Please choose the good choice, the right one, the good carbohydrates, protein, good fat. Good fat is very important, yeah. Like omega-3, plant fat, most of the plant fat is good. All right, and yeah, no this trans fat, don't take trans fat, not the processed fat, what you call that. How should I translate the trans fat to